Our next speaker is going to share with us the marketing strategy of cities like New York City sample. I would like to welcome on stage New York City Mayor Eric Adams' Chief of Staff, Mr. Frank Caron, with your warmest applause, please. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. The photo was before I got a haircut, so I apologize about that. A little earlier days. So my name is Frank Caron, and I am the Chief of Staff to New York City's 110th Mayor, Mayor Eric Adams. And the mayor has a great love, the country of Turkey, the Turkish people. In fact, he's been here 7 times, and he has a deep connection to the culture, to the people, and he says it all the time. One of the tasks that we had coming out of the pandemic when the mayor took office to the great city of New York, and I don't know if many of you know, New York's economy is, if it was a country, would be the 9th largest in the world. It's a very large place with a diverse population, diverse ideas, diverse cultures. So we were focused on how to bring New York back to the epicenter of cultural ideas, business, tourism, and just embrace that diverse background and that heritage that makes New York a great place to live and, of course, invest and make a living. It's something we did consciously. Our International Affairs Commissioner, you'll hear from soon, we made an effort to increase the budget of that office and make it a real visible office so that the rest of the world could know that New York is open for business, we're welcoming, and we're going to do what we can and put our money where our mouth is and not just give lip service. But thank you for welcoming me and the entire New York City delegation to the GYODER 17 Turkish Real Estate Summit. And today I'd like to speak a little about the worldwide economic recovery and the opportunities of Turkish investment in New York City. These past 2 years were tough on our city and on the international business community. It's no secret to any of us here. But now we are emerging from, and no, in fact, we have already passed it, time of crisis and time of reinvention. The pent-up creativity and capital that is being unleashed is transforming how we live, work, and do business. I lived my whole life in New York City, as did my parents. Immigrated from a town called Bari in Italy many years ago. And the potential I am seeing right now is outpacing anything I've ever seen before or heard about. From life sciences, and I'm happy to say just recently, through an unprecedented collaboration with the New York State Governor, great Kathy Hochul, and Mayor Adams, and her team and our team, we took a 5-acre site on Kips Bay, New York City, and we turned it into a multi-billion life science park, the first of its kind, from kindergarten through workforce. And that took a partnership, that took a culture and a mindset of yes. We're also looking at renewable energy and smart technology. Entire new industries are taking hold in New York at the moment. Just had a tour yesterday with a helicopter that goes from the east side of New York City to JFK and LaGuardia airports. That's silent. Many of the community members complained of the noise of helicopters, but you know, technology responded, and there will now be a silent helicopter. We're energizing our city, bringing new investment, growth, and jobs to every corner of our 5 boroughs. New Yorkers are back to work. Not that we are keeping score, but we are outpacing Boston, Chicago, San Francisco, and Los Angeles by a lot. We have over 50% office occupancy now from pre-pandemic, and the pace is on. Our tourism is back, a big driver of our economy. 57 million tourists will visit New York City this year, 82% of the highest level ever. And our hotels are second highest since the pandemic, filled with 92% capacity. 1 in 10 businesses in New York City have opened in the last year alone. And we are seeing the highest workforce participation in 12 years. My friends, it's just about saying yes and asking. New York's real estate sector remains one of the driving forces of our city's economy. Spending on construction in the city is poised to hit an all-time high of $86 billion this year alone, 19% increase compared to the pre-pandemic high in 2019. Our non-residential growth over the next 3 years is expected to be driven by new offices, healthcare projects, rather than just hotel and retail space. And we are already seeing new office space, Class A office space, opening in key locations across the city. We're hearing it all over. It's not just the same. Folks want to come to work in a new space, an energized space, an energy-efficient space. And that includes the recent opening of 50 Hudson Yards, New York City's 4th largest commercial office building. Penn is up next. 3 million square feet of office space has already been leased with 84% increase. That's some of the biggest companies and fastest growing employers saying, we want to put jobs in New York City, jobs and offices in New York City. And our invitation is to all of you and your clients. Financial and technology companies like Blackstone, BlackRock, Vista Equity Partners, and Trust Financial, they're all increasing their footprint and opening new offices. They see the talent and potential growth in New York. And they join a high number of business openings and opening their headquarters in New York City as well. Like Monday.com, Sequoia, a 16-ounce, Beam Sundry, Index Ventures, New York City and our administration is determined to capitalize on this new stage of post-pandemic prosperity and opportunity. And more people than ever are looking to New York as a destination to live, work, and do business. Do not believe what you read. The Adams administration is doing all we can to bolster investment, expand jobs, and opportunity. Earlier this year, we released our blueprint for economic recovery, a plan for over 70 specific actions we are taking to make sure this economic expansion reaches every sector of our city. Some of the highlights of the plan are very straightforward, like focusing on public safety and bringing tourism back to our city, as I mentioned earlier. Others are about changing how our city agencies operate to make it easier to build and do business. Let me just say that again. We heard during the campaign the complaints of businesses who would work with one agency only to hit a roadblock with another. It was our goal to break down those very silos of agencies that they work together to serve business so they could hire folks and people can earn a decent wage, bring those tax receipts back to the government, and we can continue with firemen, policemen, sanitation, keeping the city safe and clean. You do that by breaking down those silos. We work with one voice. Indeed, our Capital Process Reform Task Force is convening construction contractors, design professionals, labor leaders, and city agencies to reviewing the city's capital process and develop recommendations to reform capital project delivery. For those of you who don't know, the city and the state and the federal government earmarks money for capital. Very often that capital is bottlenecked and not able to be deployed in the manner it was supposed to. We are now looking at that to make sure the money gets unleashed and it gets to where it's supposed to get. And we do all of this with a focus, of course, with our OMB director on keeping a balanced budget. It's not always easy. We debate a lot, but we try to be as fiscally responsible as possible while engendering that growth. We are pouring unprecedented resources into supporting the industries of the future, and we're making major investments in education and workforce development. And in education, including dyslexia screening. We learned during the campaign that 30% of our inmate population are dyslexic. These are folks who some of them go on to become geniuses, titans of industry. They just have to learn differently. And you have to screen it at an early age, and we're committed to doing just that. This year, of course, we'll have the World Dyslexia Forum in Lincoln Center, the first of its kind. We want every New Yorker to be able to earn a living wage and share in our city's prosperity. That is why this year we launched NYC PINC, acronym PINCC, Pathways to Industrial and Construction careers, a program that will train and place 2,000 New Yorkers into high-wage, career-track jobs in the construction, transportation, and utility sector over the next 3 years. We want businesses from all over the world, including you, to invest in our city. And we're going to make sure they have the very best trained workforce to help them achieve their goals. The blueprint is more than just a to-do list. This is a complete reset going forward. It's about tearing down barriers that have prevented progress, bureaucratic barriers, and building a strong and resilient future for our entire city, hopefully the globe. That is why we announced the Building and Land Use Approval Streamlining Task Force, called BLAST. In New York City, a land use process could take years. We're now cutting through that with BLAST, a coordinated effort across a dozen agencies to cut red tape, streamline processes, remove administrative burdens that are slowing down the city's economic recovery. BLAST will speed up the city's review process of private applications for new investments in neighborhoods across the city. And we're going to use the city's zoning tools to support small businesses, create affordable housing, and promote sustainability across the board. And that includes the mayoral override. When the mayor can do it legally on his own, when there's a public purpose, we will in fact do that, and have in fact done that. Because this administration is all about making New York City a city of yes. Yes to innovation, yes to sustainability, yes to housing, yes to ideas, and yes to possibility. It's more than about changing codes and cutting red tape. It's about embracing a possibility and optimism even as we contend with the ongoing crisis or emerging economic challenges. We begin with a yes. We know there is a lot of uncertainty in the global economy now, but New York is prepared to weather whatever difficulties may lie ahead. New York City has always looked to the future and invested in the long run, and we're #1 in direct foreign investment. And that's not just because we have a strong international community. We have a diverse community that tries to understand one another and embrace one another's cultural differences. That is our strength. But because we're also taking active measures to make New York safe and prosperous city. A safer city where not only crime is lower, but New Yorkers can see and also feel the difference. The mayor says it a lot, we say it a lot. It's not just about statistics, it's about how you feel. We like to say the pathway to prosperity begins with public safety. A city where we address homelessness by getting people the support and housing they need, not just for a night, but for the long term. We often say there is no dignity in sleeping in the street. A city that is clean and cared for, where people enjoy living and visiting. A city where businesses from all over the world come to open offices, expand their brands, and be with their families. For over 400 years, New York has been America's capital of business and culture, a destination for investment and innovation, and we are working to continue that tradition every day at City Hall. And make no mistake, we're not afraid to pivot or change when something's not working. But like Turkey, we understand the power of the past. Even as we embrace new technology and forward-thinking urban policies, it is no coincidence that so many diaspora communities, including Turks, make their home in New York City, and we embrace that community wholeheartedly. Or that many international businesses, including Turkey's biggest companies and real estate partners, have offices in our very city. I am proud that our city is home to one of the largest Turkish communities in all of America, and I look forward to bringing our communities even closer. This is a transformational time for New York. We want all of you to be a part of it and feel a part of it. The last 2 years have certainly showed us how interconnected we truly are, and that if we work together across boundaries and borders, this energy can be a force multiplier for our economies. I just want to say thank you again for inviting us here today to spend time with you and share some remarks. We hope to return the favor when you come to New York to build that next stage of your business and future. So, let's find common ground and common interest. The entire New York delegation is waiting and here to answer your questions. and I look forward to working together in the future. And on behalf of the 110th Mayor of the great city of New York, Eric Adams, we say thank you.